www.offthecorner.net. You're watching the Fact Project here on Full Blast Radio. And FACT is an acronym that stands for Fundamental African-Centered Thought. The goal here on the Fact Project is to convey some facts and some information to members of our community. I want to start first by giving a shout out to Brother C. Allah, who was on with us last week. If you saw the YouTube version, or even if you watched it live, there was a technical issue with the audio. So we want to bring Brother C. Allah back on so that we can continue our ongoing conversation about the nation of gods and earths. In the meantime, though, you can check out Brother C. Allah and Sister Umi, who are running a school in Brooklyn. This is an independent, African-centered, Black-owned school for Black children. It's called Saving Our Babies. And you can start that process by going to savingourbabies.com. The website, again, is savingourbabies.com. And you can also send them an email. The email is savingourbabysinc@gmail.com. That email, again, is savingourbabysinc@gmail.com. But we have with us today a very powerful brother, an advocate, an activist. He's got his hands full. He's always doing a lot. The subject today is commercial rap music destroying our community? Peace, Brother Kwabena. Thank you for getting on with us today, brother.
Man, you're welcome, brother. I appreciate you for having me, man. And it's like you said, it's a lot happening everywhere, even where I am now. Just it's just a lot. But yeah, I appreciate you for having me. This topic is so very important. It's so very important. So
absolutely. Now you're joining us today with a heavy heart, brother. You want to share the news with us?
Yeah, one of my best friends, Brother Jeebarili, we call him Jeebarili, which means one with the Creator. Just made transition earlier today, and good brother. We did the Kwanzaa and Juneteenth programs. We took it over from our sister Idella Figures out here in Gary, Indiana. We transitioned, and he was like, he just said we're gonna do this every year. Stayed on me about doing it. We did it every year religiously. Made sure we had those programs for the people. Very outspoken brother, into politics, but not so much a political favorite around here because he went against the status quo. Definitely, he just got him back on the radio show, his radio show a couple weeks ago, where he was struggling with the issues in Palestine, anti-imperialist, Pan-Africanist, just all around good brother. He had some old-fashioned values and stuff that we would deal with and laugh about and talk about sometime. I call him BAB, and I'll tell you offline what that means in a minute. But just all around good brother, and so. But again, he was not part of the status quo. But real tight with Mayor Hatcher, Richard Hatcher. Real tight with our mayor after that, Rudy Clay. But at the same time, tight with the people and putting on programs, wanting to uplift the people to not what's going on here just locally, not just nationally, but internationally. Just the brother, he will be missed, Brother Jesus Willie Jonathan. So this dedicate, what we're talking about to him. And also he worked with us with the Clear Airways project too, and was definitely with us on this music piece.
Now you said here you're in the state of Indiana, correct?
Yes, I'm in Gary, Indiana, which is part of the Chicagoland area, but Gary, Indiana. Yeah, we're like more Chicagoland, and Indianapolis is a couple hours away, so we're like Chicagoland.
Yeah, so that's Midwest. We know of Black consciousness as something that sprung up in the West Coast and in New York City. In the Midwest, and I like to say this because I like to familiarize my audience with guests when I bring them on. But what was your introduction to Black consciousness?
Well, my introduction was when I grew up in LA, and so my uncle was a member of the Black Panther Party, and so I was just listening to something about around the 70th anniversary of the birth of Mumia Abu-Jamal, and thinking about my uncle and his comrades who would be at the house all the time. And so I was just thinking about the Freeman brothers. I was watching the segment on Roland and Ronald Freeman yesterday, and also Brother Wayne Farr. I was, man, the Freeman brothers were at my house all the time. So here I am, 7, 8 years old, looking at these brothers and others who were there, and little did they know, or maybe they did know, they were influencing me back there. So that's where it started, really. when I became of age and realized, hey, these cool cats, brothers and beautiful sisters with naturals, and they out here. I didn't know how young they were. They were older than me back then, but they were, late teens, early 20s, mid 20s, 30, struggling and sacrificing for the people. So that was part of my start my political conscience. And then reading the Black Panther paper as a child, because Emory Douglas would put those illustrations and cartoons in them. So I'll be looking at those illustrations, which is something I want to talk about too before we finish up today.
Oh, definitely. We come back to that. You said your uncle, and I like how you don't always lead with this, but your uncle was Geronimo G. Jaga Pratt, correct?
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Yeah, and I like that you don't lead with that. Like you're clearing your own path. You're your own individual. You don't, because a person would say, "Hey, my uncle is Geronimo," so a person might brag about that, but you don't lead with that. So, I salute you for that humility. But either way, you started the. Go ahead. Go ahead.
However, though, we are very proud and love that legacy and very much influenced by our dear brother. So
Absolutely.
yeah, yes.
Yeah, so you got a very interesting past there because Black Panther Party were actually black socialists as opposed to black nationalists. So it seems you've been exposed to both. Is that correct to say that?
Oh yes. They were definitely into socialism with free breakfast, free medical care. The 10-point program exuded socialism and exuded being for the people. Like Chairman Fred Hampton said one time. He said, "People don't care. Uh, they don't care if it's socialism or whatever you want to call it. But you better not put your hands on it on these programs they were doing,
Correct.
or
So
it's
now
going to be
here
support."
now you started the Clear the Airways project. What can you tell us about that initiative? What is the goal of the Clear the Airways project?
Clear the Airways project is to clear the airways of this music, these radio airways in particular, music that demeans and degrades our women, calls us drops in bombs on us, calls us to kill each other, promotes materialism, promotes selfishness, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, all of that. So it's all of that, but it's mainly focused on the actual radio stations, because these radio stations are constantly bombarding our children and youth with wild, vulgar, and violent music, and it's just so horrific. And so we have a project, and it's not an organization; it's a black project. 'Cause we didn't think it would take this long, but as time went on, we kind of underestimated in a way the extent of their diabolicalness, if that's a word, and how dangerous they are. So yeah.
Now, Brother Kwabena, a lot of the black music stations in America are white owned. Do you consider that to be a problem?
Yeah, you don't control your children, especially these are stations that target our children. It's a major problem. I work with the National Black Leadership Alliance and under Bob Law, and again, peace and blessings to our brother Bob Law also, who just this past weekend had a ceremony for his beautiful wife, Muntu Law. They very very healthy, helpful, namaskar. Just he lost her, so there was a ceremony for her. So peace and blessings to him, our comrade. And but we will lament to them how in Chicago, the two radio stations that program music to our children, the iHeart radio station, we call them No Heart, WGCI, and Power 92.3, which is the Crawford broadcasting station, with both European owned. Here we are in probably the city with the second largest concentration of African people in the country. And both of the radio stations that target our children with music are European owned. And not just that, what they're giving them is just total garbage. And then when we would lament to that to them, they say it's the same thing in New York. Same thing in New York. And
Absolutely.
same
So
thing in so many other cities.
give us some examples of some of the music that you're talking about.
Okay, so we'll just so here's one song. So it was Memorial Day, I believe it was 2021 or 22, and out of Chicago, they were doing their top 10 songs on the No Heart station, or top 20 countdown. And the songs they were sharing with us were pretty much ratchet, but the number one song Memorial Day weekend was Back in Blood by Pooh Shiesty, who's now locked up in jail, and also what's the brother's name? Very popular drill rapper. And anyway, the song is called Back in Blood, and the chorus goes, "I ain't got nowhere to go. I didn't shot up everywhere they was." That's in the chorus of the song that he kept saying. And so that's an example of what they playing. That was the song was number one going into Memorial Day weekend. And later on that summer, the other song that was number one was "Time Today" by Moneybagg Yo. And "Time Today," he spun your block twice, and when he came back around again, it looked like the world ended. This is another number one song in the country that they play in hot rotation constantly and constantly. And so, Lil Durk was the other rapper on Memorial Day. Let me go back to that because Memorial Day weekend, that was that Saturday of Memorial Day. By the time the weekend was over, Pooh Shiesty on the song "Back in Blood" was in prison or was in jail for shooting someone in a club. And he talks about shooting somebody in the club in the song. And Lil Durk's brother was shot in the head and killed outside the club, just south of Chicago, in one of the southern struggling ghetto suburbs of Chicago. And so here we are. These European radio stations got this as the number one song in the country for our people about black back in blood. And then the two artists that are on the song, one of them's brothers got shot and killed, the other one's in jail for shooting somebody. But yeah, and that's what they have as number one. And those are just mere examples. But just recently, and we did a presentation recently called "The Past, Present, and Questionable Future of Rap Music." And when we talked about the present, we talked about the songs that were number one so far this year. We just talked about two of them. One of them was "Hiss" from Megan Pete, not a male horse. They called it "The Stallion." But one was "Hiss" from Megan Pete, where she dissing another rapper, Nicki Minaj. And then the other song that was number one was a song called "Carnival," Kanye West and a few others. Where they talk about Columbine in the song. And the song is "Carnival." Brother, who goes to carnivals? Who enjoys carnivals the most?
Children.
The song, in the chorus of the song, she give brain or head or something. They were straight up like the honor roll. Who makes the honor roll?
Children.
In another part of the song, he says she rides the D like a carnival. Again, who goes to the carnival? This is the chorus of the song. Kanye's on there talking about drinking his urine. This was a number one song in the country. I have a little relative, of course we got relatives, but this one in high school, I was out of town. I asked him what was his favorite artist, his favorite song. He mentioned Kanye. I said, "You like the song, his new song, Carnival?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I know the lyrics." Then he was silent. And then the number one album in the country right now is an album entitled "We Still Don't Trust You," and it took number one album from another album entitled by the same artist, "We Don't Trust You." And these are the artists are Future, we call them No Future, and Metro Boomin. And that title comes from the line, "If Young Metro don't trust you." You know the answer to that?
I do not know.
So the answer to "If Young Metro don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot you." That's the answer to it. That tagline for the DJ Metro Boomin was in 5 of the top 10 songs on Chicago's WGCI European-owned radio station in 2017. So here we are, 7 years later. They're going to make this a number one album. On this one, it said, "We Don't Trust You." The question I asked earlier, if Young Metro don't trust you, I'm going to shoot you. Now the answer now is no if in it. We don't trust you. So I'm going to shoot you. And so when you hear the song being played, the title track to the song, they again, in that song say, "If Young Metro don't trust you, I'm going to shoot you." A tagline from 7 years ago where they had 5 of the top 10 songs on Chicago radio saying that. And brother, so if the song is in the top 10, that means that the song is in hot rotation. That means the song is played 15 to 20 times a day. So if it's 20 times a day, that's 20 times each song, that's 100 times we're hearing that crap. So that's crazy. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. I got to do this.
Yeah, no worries. We got brother Kwabena Rasuli with us of the Clear the Airways project. He was involved in an event this weekend that was put on by CMOTAP, which is the Committee to Eliminate Media Offensive to African People. They were talking about the reboot, the animated reboot on Netflix of Good Times. We're going to come to that in a minute. But we're going to have brother Kwabena continue his conversation about is commercial rap music destroying us and destroying our community. Now, Brother Kwabena, you mentioned some of the concepts and some of the lyrics and some of the titles of a lot of these songs. Are the record labels pushing artists to do this kind of music?
Yes, yes, we hear the artists tell you that themselves if they want to do something that's. I mean, the classic story is Young Buck used to be the G Unit when he had a song about police brutality and dealing with that. They told him absolutely not. They had a lyric committee. They told him absolutely not. However, as long as Shorty wanted to ride and do all sorts of crime and crazy stuff, that was okay. That was okay. And I want to go back though to this whole thing about if young men don't trust you, I'm going to shoot you. And I mentioned that it was January 2017 when those five. I mean, you know, can you imagine 5 songs in the top 10 on a given night? 5 of them had in their tagline or in the song, if you don't trust somebody, if someone don't trust somebody, you're going to shoot them. And in January 2017, that came right less than a month after the end of 2016. In 2016 in Chicago, at least 780 people were homicide victims. If it was 780 homicide victims, I guarantee you that 740 of them look like you and I. At least 740 of them look like you and I. And so here you have a European-owned radio station, less than a month after these horrific numbers. And oh, by the way, nearly 11 people were shot every day. Every day, 11 people were shot in Chicago. And again, if 11 people were shot in Chicago every day, 9 of them look like you and I. And they had the audacity to be playing on the air 5 songs less than a month later in their top 10 said, if you don't trust somebody, you should shoot them. Not that if you don't trust somebody, you should get away from them or that you should get to know them so you can develop some sort of trust. But no, just shoot them. And this is what they're playing for African people. So yes, absolutely, it is. It's been dangerous. It continues to be dangerous. And it just to finish up on this present piece, right now, if you look at iHeart, for some reason, iHeart got on my social media, iHeart, and right now, what they're pumping up constantly, if anybody else is seeing it, is all these rap feuds. The well-known rappers who are feuding with each other, dissing each other. That's what they've been pumping up right now because it's making a lot of money for them. And all these feuds, they're dropping M-bombs on each other, which is the most dangerous, despicable, disgusting word in the history of English or any other language. It opens up the portal to all the stuff we're dealing with right now. It's this ratchet, the use of this dangerous word.
You said the record labels are steering artists in that direction to make that negative music. Why are they doing that? To what end do you think they're doing that?
So a lot of people say it's because of the money, and the money does have something to do with it. Of course, we're in a capitalist society. They want to make money, but also they make money more than just the record sales. So I think the money piece is what it is, because they make money off us going to these prisons, selling their poisonous products to the masses of our people. They make money off us in that way. So I think it's genocidal. I think money has something to do with it, but it's also the mindset. It's like I always use the example of Speech from Arrested Development. When their first album came out way back, won awards, highly acclaimed, critically acclaimed, great album, excellent album. Second album came out, you would think, okay, let's follow up on that momentum and push this album too so we can make some more money. The record companies can make more money off of it. They did. They were talking about Africa Inside Me. They were talking about Black Panthers. They were talking about the environment, sunshine. That was a Big Maladuni, I think was the name of that album. They deep sixed the album. They didn't give it no pub, no. They could have made buku money off that album because I think it was better than the first album. They did not push that album at all. So it's not all about money. That's the example we use. It's about again what they want to go into the psyches, into the minds of people.
Now you're saying from your perspective, the labels are pushing this because it's genocide on our people, correct?
Yes, I think that's the main reason it's genocidal on our people.
Okay. Now, if you talk to young people about this, and I'm sure you have, some of them might say that, it's just music and the media doesn't impact our behavior. How do you react to that? How do you respond to that?
Man, I'm glad you asked that because we get very little of that. We do a survey right now. Please check it out. It's a survey. You can find them on YouTube. It's called The Sad State of Black Music. And we'll randomly be in San Diego or Tampa or New York or Portland or somewhere. We'll say African and we'll ask them, give me the percentage of music you and your peers listen to that drop in-bombs on us, that call our women B's and H's, and that brags about it and encourages us to shoot and kill each other. And in most cases, in the 70, 80, and 90% range for all 3 categories. In most cases, we're asking the youth and the youth will react to, like, very seldom. I think I was in Oakland one time when I think the guy was saying it was just music and it don't make no difference. But the vast majority of the time, the people and even the youth are like, yeah, it's making a difference. That is the music. And you get it because they hear the music. The music is so insidious. It's so horrific. They hear the music, so they know how bad it is. A lot of the adults don't listen to it, and I don't blame them because it's tough to listen to. It is tough to listen to.
Yeah, now the intergroup violence that we see among us as a people. Do you think that, based on what you're saying, I'm just going with the logic, you think a lot of the intergroup violence we see among us as a group is caused by the system of structural racism?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. The structural racism that is now was for some time now, because Malcolm talked about it. The hate. He talked about the shooting and the cutting and the stabbing back in the days, and we have those issues, and it all has to do with self hate, and racism is hateful, and now we can't be racist to ourselves, but we can be hateful to ourselves, and that's the piece. But Malcolm asked that question: who taught you to hate yourself?
Absolutely. So now I was digging a brother out of Philly, and he was saying, as it relates to commercial rap music, they fund the thug and starve the scholar. The music has no socially relevant message. There are no solutions in it, and it's not promoting agreeable relationships among us as a people. It's an oversimplification caused by stereotypes, and I feel like a lot of what we see as it relates to commercial rap music is like a European caricature of who we are as a people. Do you see it that same way?
I definitely see it that same way. I look at it as a modern day minstrel show, only that it's a lot more pornographic and a lot more violent than even the minstrel shows were. And yeah, that's what it is. And I know we're going to talk about this in a minute, but the subject is right here. But in dealing with this cartoon that they have out now, there's so many podcasts and people who are going in on it. I can't count them. I can't keep up with them. But I finally
No.
saw one with the white dude and the brother. And the white dude, one of the first things he said when this podcast started was that he loved the character Junior. He said he loved it. So of course you love it. Because you like, just that's the same reason y'all be at the Rolling Loud Fest and these particular fests. And matter of fact, I just saw one last night. With most of the white folks at a Metro Boomin concert, DJ Metro Boomin yelling at him to do something, and he responds back. So yeah, that's who pays these $300,000, $400,000 ticket prices to go to these modern day minstrel fests, where there'll be a bunch of artists bragging about disrespecting their women and killing each other. So yeah, no, that's definitely part of the problem. It's a caricature of our people. It's a slap in the face, and a lot of us, unfortunately, are dropping the M-bombs for them, trying to justify it, saying it ends with the A instead of the ER. And then we have what we have. We have 10,000, an average of 10,000 African homicide victims in the U.S. since this decade started, 2020. An average of 10,000, around 10,000 of us are dying of homicide since this decade started, and it's promoted and pushed into music.
For those of you
bragged about it in music.
Yeah, for those of you that are just joining us, we're talking to Brother Kwabena Rasuli, who is an activist of the Clear the Airwaves project. We're talking about, is commercial rap music destroying us? Brother Kwabena, you talked about a lot of this music being directed and marketed to children. I like solutions. So what do you suggest parents do to protect their children against this kind of music and the music videos even?
I think the parents must monitor the music. They must listen to the music. And then once you hear the music, join groups like ours, join the Clear the Airways project, work with Rage Against the Ratchet, work with CMOTAP, and get a hold of the FCC. Even though we filed complaints with the FCC over and over again, but get a hold of the FCC. Have demonstrations, hold the sponsors accountable. Yeah, there's several things that we can do. This is so important. So we referee basketball also. And one of the things we struggle with was being at basketball games, high school, junior high school basketball games, and they're playing ratchet music.
Wow.
And we had to, man, I had to pull the plug like, at a couple occasions at a high school girls game, and they're playing this ratchet pornographic music. And talking to the adults, this is not what we're here for. The people who come to the games didn't come to hear this. It's disrespectful to their parents, to them, to be playing this music. Y'all don't know the lyrics. We know the lyrics. Tell the DJ to cut that off. Don't play that. Oh, it's just me. Don't. Yeah, had to pull the plug. I got kicked out of a. I can't go back to Hammond High. And I can't go back. I can't go back to Hammond High anymore. Hold on a second, man. This has been a crazy morning. I got to get this out. But it's part of life. I'm so sorry, but I can't go back to Hammond High School anymore because of their getting on them from playing this violent, vulgar music while the basketball games are going on. We got children out there, basketball games, fighting and acting up and all that, and you're playing this horrific music.
So how did you get kicked out? What happened there?
Well, the athletic director, I'm not the athletic director, the coach didn't want me there no more because I was complaining about the music.
Okay, and who did you complain to? We got Brother Kwabena Rasuli from the Clear the Airways Project talking about, is commercial rap music destroying us? He's laying out a lot of the detrimental effect that the music has on us, and he's going into detail about some of the content and some of the lyrics and the images in the music and the music videos that are being directed towards our children. Brother Kwabena, you said years ago KRS-One was one of your favorite rappers. Is that correct?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, now Criminal Minded, which was Boogie Down Productions' first album, is considered by many people who listen to and enjoy rap music as a classic. I sincerely believe that Criminal Minded was the spark that got us to where we are right now as it relates to negativity in rap. I want to bring you back on, Brother Kwabena, another day so we can talk about Criminal Minded, because my question is really not about Criminal Minded, but I have to mention that in the run-up to the question. On Criminal Minded, KRS-One does a record called 9mm Goes Bang. You remember the record, right?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, on that song, he said, knew a crack dealer by the name of Peter, had to buck him down with my 9mm. Now, he wasn't talking about selling drugs himself, and he wasn't talking about using drugs, but he was talking about shooting drug dealers. Fast forward to the 1990s, now rappers are talking about selling drugs, with a lot of fabricated, contrived narratives that include flipping bricks, flipping keys, knowing Colombians, and all this kind of nonsense. So it went from KRS-One saying he's shooting drug dealers to rappers rapping about being drug dealers. Now you fast forward to now, Brother Kwabena, you have a lot of artists that are rapping about abusing the drugs. And it was Most Def, who is now Yasin Bey, who said that hip hop went from selling crack to smoking it. What are your thoughts on that?
I remember poetry. That was when I first heard. I was working at a radio station in Louisiana, F.A.C.T 106, and I worked on Saturday morning. And so I had access to the record closet when nobody else was there. So I reached in there, I got out Criminal Minded, I got out Paid in Full from Raquel, and I started playing some of them. The poetry was my favorite cut on there. And he talked about a rather point a pistol at your head and try to burst it. And so but then I guess he went to the next album, which was pretty much fully conscious. But no, my thoughts are on it. Is music influences us. And like you said, that Most Def or Yasin Bey right now, and a lot of the music is thought provoking. And the music today, it dumbs you down. It's dumb. The lyrics are dumb. Even the beats are the same beats recycled. It's sad how much it dumbs you down. But it dumbs you down to do what? It dumbs you down to hate yourself and hate your people and to do violent acts on your people simply if you just don't trust them. You know, or it tells you to Molly Percocet, and it's coming from an artist who he says he don't even do drugs, but he's encouraging you to do it. And they got him everywhere you go. He's the top. They're promoting and pushing him. They're promoting and pushing 21 Savage, No Future. 21 Savage, he's just I think somebody just named him as one of the most 100 in the top 100 influencers today. 21 Savage.
Wow. Wow, I get it. Now, brother, you remember UMCs? They were out of Staten Island, New York.
Yeah,
uh, uh, NY Oil, who was Cool Kim of UMCs, he considered this kind of rap to be race traitor rap because it promotes intergroup violence and it glorifies us harming, brutalizing, and killing each other. You think that's a good assessment? This is race traitor rap?
yeah, I think it is. I think going back to that word, and it's like if you using that word, and I'm not saying like the NAACP tried to bury the word a couple of years ago, a couple of decades or so ago, and I would even with that. You're not gonna bury the word. The word is there, but don't call your people that word. That's the thing. And so when you do that, yeah, and it's race traders, but some of us don't even know we're doing it because it's been so normalized. And so, I do a conscious hip hop show called a Weekly Wrap Up, where, oh, by the way, Marcus Mosiah Garvey is still in hot rotation. You
No,
definitely get
nice,
that up.
nice.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
salute. Shout out to
yeah,
Samsung and DJ
yeah,
Tiger.
yes, indeed. And we don't even, me and my cousin don't have time to play as much, play the conscious music that's out there. However, there's still too many artists still dropping them in bombs. I mean, I love this song with Black Thought and Common, Fela Kuti, Sean Kuti, Fela Kuti's son. But for some reason, they feel they got to drop an N bomb in there. We got to drop. No, you don't have to. Leave them out. Don't leave the N bombs out. It opens up the portal to all this stuff. Words have power. Our ancient ancestors taught us that. We know that.
Absolutely. So you working with CMOTAP. CMOTAP is the Committee to Eliminate Media Offensive to African People. They are a hardcore Pan-African Black nationalist organization here in New York City. How did you first come to work with CMOTAP?
I'm trying to think how I even came across CMOTAP. But when I look at it, I saw what it meant, Committee to Eliminate Media Offensive to African People, as you just shared, working on this Clear Airways project. So we got to get a hold of them. We got to get some work done with them. Maybe it was via the UAM because we had a United African Movement here in Gary too, based on the UAM. We know one of the presidents, co-president, co-chair of CMOTAP is James McIntosh, who worked seriously with the United African Movement. And so we got a hold of Dr. McIntosh and Sister Betty Dobson, and we got a meeting there. We did a presentation there about 2016, I think, and then we came back again and we met with a lot of they brought a lot of newspaper publishers and activists and leaders there. And so that's when we met. That's when we met Bob Law. And so we've been working with National Black Leadership Alliance and CMOTAP since then. Not just CMOTAP East, there's CMOTAP West also with LeGrand Clegg and Brother Nasir and Brother Lynn and all those. So we've been working with them too.
Absolutely. So Clear the Airways Project, CMOTAP, and any number of other organizations have come together and they launched a campaign against Netflix about the animated reboot of Good Times. So can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so Good Times, as we all know, beloved sitcom from back in the day. Some people have some problems with it. I even thought it was kind of corny in a little bit, but when they started coming back on TV, I started watching them. And I'm like, almost every episode has some sort of redeeming value to it, some sort of message at the end of it. And so here we are. They're going to do a reboot of Good Times in animation. And first thing I saw was the trailer. And so we contacted, I don't think Brother Winbush, Ray Winbush may have shared the trailer or something. A good brother out of Morgan State. But we saw the trailer and then we got a hold of CMOTAP. And we were like, this is unacceptable. And as we got a hold of them, we started seeing, like I said earlier, commentary and even Stephen A. Smith, who goes at it with what's the guy named Whitlock, and Karen Hunter, and who else we got here? You can name people that you know and don't know. Anybody and everybody start going in on this ratchet modern day minstrel show, this animation called Good Times. It is horrible. It is horrific. Let me see. We got Cory Buckner, Reed the Writer, Killicious, Verbal Riot, Devon Rucker, You Geek TV, Tiffany Bird Harrison, Black Power Media, Fly Nubian Queen, Chillmonger. So we can go on and on. JD Weatherspoon, that's Weatherspoon's, crazy comedian Weatherspoon. He just passed recently. Yeah. His son has a piece where he reviews all 10 episodes and he's trashing it. all 10 episodes. When you look at the trailer, they won't let you see the thumbs down, but the thumbs up as of the other day was close to 7,000 people had gave it a thumbs up, but nearly 70,000 people gave it a thumbs down. And so there's a 10 times more people don't want that crap or don't like that crap than likes it.
Okay, explain to us what was in the trailer. What did that entail?
The trailer entailed the family living in the same, not just the same project, but the same apartment number as they did in Good Times. And if you recall, at the end of Good Times, they moved out. And if you look right now today, and it's been for quite some time now, the projects, Cabrini Green, the high rises do not exist anymore. It's already been gentrified. So that's in the trailer. There's a scene in the trailer where the rapper, the 2-year-old baby is confronted by Lil Baby, the baby, and Baby for drug territory, and they shoot at him. He's running away from them shooting at him, a 2-year-old baby with all the children we have getting shot up in the crossfire. But it's like apropos to the baby, because remember in this song Rockstar, he brags about killing the N when his daughter was watching. His daughter's a G. She saw him kill an N at the age of 2, and he'll do another one too. And so that's in the trailer. You got a depiction of a dog in the trailer that we find out later. The dog is in the silhouette, and behind him, the father is having doggy style sex with the mama. You can hear the thumping going on the trailer. And we found out later that the guy needed, I think his name is Reggie, needed that dog it was a PTSD dog. He had some health issues, and he called the dog. Psst. He couldn't say PTSD or didn't understand what it meant, so he just said psst. That was the name of the dog. Was psst. And so the mama didn't want the dog in the house. She's like, I'm the only BITCH in the house. This is the type of stuff in the trailer. We don't need a dog in the house as a pet. We got roaches as pet. Stuff like that. Just horrible. Just the whole depiction of the thing. The little girl in there who's like the Michael character. She's supposed to be the rebel. She goes on a hunger strike. They got flies. In one episode, they got animations of flies flying all around her. The house gets flooded, and they got roaches floating on an empty beer can through the house.
And this is something that Steph Curry, the NBA star, is behind. What's his role in all of this?
He's executive producer. There was a great open letter to him. If you guys please look it up. Open letter to Steph Curry, challenging him on this crap. Finally, I heard one reporter ask him about it after the game, and he asked him. He said, pretty much, what's up with this? And his response was, it's for adults or whatever. And they asked, would you watch this with your children? No, I won't be watching it I won't be watching it with my children. However, forget about our children. No, we just started calling them, and we still need to call them Steph and F.A.C.T Curry for this.
Yeah, so there has been there was a little uproar before it aired, and then they changed some of the content. Did I get that right?
No, I haven't. I didn't see that they changed any content.
Anything. Oh wow, okay.
No.
Okay, and so apart from the open letter, is there a campaign against Steph Curry? We're going to talk about the CMOTAP campaign, but has there been any campaign against Steph Curry, or is just Netflix is the target right now?
I'm not aware of any campaign specifically against Steph Curry. I know people have expressed the need to. We've been sending him messages on this stuff to say, look, now that you're out of the playoffs, and he'd been my favorite ball chaser. But my ball chasing don't supersede my people. But now that you're out of the playoffs, you have plenty of time to address this issue properly. And I watched Kyrie Irving yesterday. Just amazing what he did yesterday. But when he suggested that people maybe want to take a look at this documentary that offended some people, he was fined. He was suspended. The New Jersey Nets were made to pay money. He was made to pay money. I don't know if the ADL took the money, but that was to the Anti-Defamation League of B'nai B'rith, whatever they call it. But he was made to pay them money. I don't think they took the money from Kyrie. He was also made to meet with leaders to get some sensitivity training. And so at that point, we met with Dr. McIntosh, and we talked about he had an excellent history of the Zionist involvement in the entertainment industry and really dealing with all the stuff we've been talking about thus far. And so we're saying that offended some people. Obvious from what we're seeing on all these social media pieces
that this cartoon, Good Times, is offending a lot more people. And we've been expressing our outrage and our disdain with this, and our that we're not with this and we don't want this. However, they aired them anyway. This was before it aired on April 12th. This was before it came out on April 12th, and they knew it, but they aired it anyway. So, man, I'm like, man, Steph Curry needs to do more than what he just said at that press conference. And so the people have to put the pressure on him. I agree. I mean, Subway is one of his sponsors. He has quite a few sponsors. He is the highest paid player in the NBA at $45 million, from what we understand. So why would you produce some stuff like this? Your daddy was Dale. Another thing about Golden State, if you look at Golden State, there was something about, I know Wiggins' father, Mitchell Wiggins, Michael Thompson, his son's on the team. I think Dale Davis' son is on the team, and there may be one more. So there's at least 4 or 5 players on that team that I'm sure grew up pampered to a certain extent. I wasn't in their household, but I'm sure they didn't have the financial struggles that most of us have. So they didn't have to live in no good time situation or struggling situation. But then for you to come up and promote and push this, no, he definitely needs to be checked. And I think he needs to meet with some of our people for some sensitivity training. And it would be great if he paid some reparations to organizations that could use it to help promote positive things about us. I also work with the Nubian Leadership Circle, part of the arts and culture cadre. And want to send some love to my sister Mariah Mache. She's also a beautiful, great artist too. Makes good music. She has a new song out called Black Man with Sister Neelam. That's an excellent song. But we're part of this. Her and Dick Gregory were the main ones talking about this. We started a elevated, Dick Gregory's daughter, I should say. What's the name?
Ayana Gregory.
Ayana started this elevated arts and culture collective. And so we're part of our thing is not only to join this collective, not only do you have to be an artist or a supporter of the arts who puts forth good art, whether it be visual art or songs, poetry, whatever, that puts out art that uplifts the African masses. You cannot be someone who supports this negative, this ratchet art. And so we want to, so as being part of that collective is incumbent upon us to deal with stuff like this, like this Good Times reboot.
Now, Def Rucker, who was in the chat, he's saying that some Black comedians did voiceovers for the animation. You know anything about that?
Yes, there's plenty of them. The one, Jay Farrell, JB Smooth, a few others. Wanda Sykes is on there. Tisha Campbell, like when I was talking about that flooding episode, you can actually hear her voice singing, talking about keeping your head above water. She was the landlady in one of the episodes, and they were complaining about their house flooding, and she's not gonna help them. She just told them to keep your head above water, and she sang it, and she was in her plush apartment.
So some of these
Cree Summer, who was, she was like the conscious of a different world. She's over there doing voices.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. So now you think they need to be held to account for participating in this?
Yeah, I think everybody participates in this. Who participated in this needs to say something. Because Bernadette Status, her voice is in there, but she talked about it. She said, I didn't realize this was going to be the end product, and so she's not with it. They had a roach. She was like, there's a roach singing the theme song with the father in the shower. A roach is singing with it. And just come on, man. Are you serious? So no, I think they should be held accountable. When you hold somebody accountable, you have to deal with it. If it's apologizing or if it's telling y'all whatever, forget y'all. And there's the consequences. But we have to enact consequences. But we know those are pawns. Basically, we know, like you said, and we'll get to that. But no, just like with the hip hop, people get on all the time. On both ways. Y'all not holding the rappers accountable, and other people said y'all not holding the industry accountable. But we're not letting the rappers off the hook. We check and challenge the rappers every chance we get. But we also understand that if Bobby Shmurda goes to prison for 7 years, or if what's the brother from Birmingham, Montgomery, Alabama, that got shot and killed at a concert at a club, if they die playing these fractured subtle games they rap about, or if they say I'm gonna go conscious now, they just simply won't play them. They'll play somebody else. So the rappers need to be held accountable and checked. However, it is the industry, it is the record labels, it is this violent, vulgar, grown audio pedophiles as part of this music industry. Those are the main culprits and their sponsors.
And you mentioned Bernadette Stanis. For those that don't know, she played Thelma in the original Good Time series of the 1970s. Now, Brother Kwabena, you were involved in an event that Simotap put together this weekend. You were moderating that event and featured a lot of heavy hitters. Sister Oya Ma'at spoke. Brother Tony Browder, who's an African-centered scholar, as well as Dr. Maulana Karenga spoke. Everybody, spoke their piece on this Good Times animation. What can you tell us about that event that transpired this past Saturday?
I thought the event was excellent. It was, like you said, had a lot of heavy hitters there. Dr. James McIntosh gave a great presentation. Sister Betty Dobson was there. I had a brother named Burnett Gorman who talked about this concept called learned helplessness. You lose so much that you give up fighting. And so that's something we got to get out of and understand that sometimes there are wins. And they talk about um, uh, letting the people know that you're wins, that you are having victories. So it encouraged us to keep on going at it. And so that was a good part of it. Again, Tony Broader talked about us being ready to deal with these. And so I think Brother Asante too, we need to build an organized manner that we don't allow this. So no, I thought it was an excellent program, and everybody was concise and to the point with their outrage. And we have some things we have to do, and we're going to be getting together in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from this past Saturday to follow up.
Okay, and what's the call? I understand that there's a launch to launch a boycott of Netflix to cancel your subscription. Can you give us the details about that?
Yeah, simply cancel. And some people have done it already. On Dr. Mott's, when Dr. McIntosh was on with Dr. Mott, there were people that were canceling their subscriptions. I've talked to people myself who have canceled their subscriptions. So there's a call to cancel your subscription to Netflix, and not only that, to let them know why. Don't just cancel and not let them know why. Dr. Mott said something we may want to look into doing a little later, having us one day when we do it. And there was another caller who called, who was part of the call yesterday too, and we shared how you can go to Netflix page, and there's a spot where you can do comments, and we're going to need to bombard them with comments. So that was one of the things we should do. Get with your organizations, get with your civic organizations, and get them to write a letter, get them to express disdain for this in an official capacity. Also, there's a petition to boycott Netflix. Sign that petition, share that petition. One of the callers said he'd already, there may have been Brother Burnett too, shared the petition with all of his followers and encouraged them to sign that petition.
And how do we find that petition?
That petition, I put it on. It's on our chat. I'm on my phone right now, as you saw. It was running early, but it is out there. It is a change.org boycott Netflix. Hopefully I can bring it up before we finish, and I'll bring it up and share it with you.
If not, then I'll be sure to mention it next week. Now, you said the call is to cancel your Netflix subscription. You said you can go on Netflix website and leave comments, so we're urging people to do that. And they said the snail mail address too is at the bottom of their website. So letter writing was encouraged as well. Is that correct?
Yes, letter writing was also encouraged. And I wrote from yesterday. I had my notes right here. I just got back in the house a minute ago, but I also have there's a New York City address. There was a demonstration that was held at the Los Angeles headquarters of Netflix, and it wasn't as well attended as we needed. Oh, the Netflix corporate office is 888 Broadway, New York, 110003.
Okay.
That's the Netflix corporate office.
888 Broadway. Okay.
Yeah.
And we got Cream794 in the chat wants you to talk about artists and public figures who are Black shucking and jiving just to get a paycheck.
It's so sad, and you see it. I mean, you see it all the time, and shucking and jiving, and don't forget the twerking, and just like our brother said, Black NY Oil.
NY Oil, that's correct. Yes.
Like you said, just doing the work of the enemy. Doing the work on the enemy for a paycheck. No better than, pretty much worse than the minstrels of yesteryear. Modern day minstrels, just more pornographic and more violent. They are an embarrassment to our race. But the thing is, they are pubbed out and pushed so much by the society. The society, like the one white dude I was sharing with that was on that one piece, on one of the numerous folks showing disdain for this Good Times piece. He loved the character JR, the one that didn't pass that didn't pass 10th grade after 3 tries. He loved this character.
Okay, now I'm need you to say that address again. 888 Broadway, New York.
Yes, 10003. I think
That's
it's one
what
more.
I need. 10003. I'm putting that in the chat now. We're going to encourage people to write those letters. I think that's important. sending those snail mail letters, emails, comments on the website, thumbs down on the trailer on YouTube. Is there anything else that people can do if might want to get involved in this activism?
I think and one of the things we said, do not buy or do not purchase that. So if you can check it out, bootleg, or look at some of these numerous critiques. I mean, I'm telling you, they're just, you can't count the critiques. They're critiquing each and every show. Like I said, J.D. Weatherspoon does the whole 10. Well, look at some of those and you'll see there's an episode of what people are saying the worst thing on TV ever, when the young sister has her cycle for the first time at school. She's teased by the students. It gets to the point where they said she is writing her homework, not her homework, her classwork with the blood in the classroom.
And this was the revolutionary character, quote unquote.
Yes, the so-called revolutionary character.
Wow.
And this is what they got her doing. She's 12 years. She's depicted to be 12 years old in this piece. They got her having a dream where she's going on stage twerking at 12-year-old. This is child. This is pedophilia. Seth MacFarlane. Oh, and I can't forget this.
Yes.
So Seth MacFarlane. We talked about Steph Curry, and the other producers, Norman Lear and Seth MacFarlane. Maybe he joined in because Seth has the same name as his brother, Seth Curry, who's also in the NBA. But Seth MacFarlane, man, I was watching NFL action on TV on a Sunday, like a lot of us do. The second game, I fell asleep. I woke up, game was over. I wonder who won the game, but what got me out of my slumber was hearing a voice say, Harriet Tubman doing Gwyneth Paltrow. I'm like, what? So I opened my eyes, and there it is, that big old fathead dude from Family Guy, and an animation of a white woman draped across Harriet Tubman. And Harriet Tubman are probably our most revered ancestor. I can't. Can you think of anybody more revered than Harriet Tubman?
No.
I can't think of nobody. You did the song on Marcus Garvey. We love Marcus Garvey. We know his accomplishments. Malcolm. But Harriet Tubman, she ain't out. She in the trenches going back and forth all this time to save her people out of slavery. And you do this to her? So this is Seth MacFarlane. I found out one of my comrades, that's Seth MacFarlane. That's what he does. I said, oh no, this cannot be allowed to happen. And Brother McIntosh was like, why you look? I don't know if I knew you back then, Dr. McIntosh, but I should have been mentioned to you before. But we know now, and now he gets the chance to do this animation on Good Times. So no, that's the other producer.
So the animator is another European. Is that correct?
Seth MacFarlane, yes.
He's the animator. Okay, so because that was a question somebody posted in the chat. Was the animator black? The animator is not black. So now, not only did they go after Harriet Tubman, but they said they had some adverse things to depict about Ann Poo, which comes out of our ancestral culture, coming out of ancient Kemet. What did that scene involve exactly? Do you know?
Oh, you mean when it was you talk Anubis?
Yeah, exactly. That's what the Europeans call. But yeah, we say Ann Poo. But yeah, Ann
Poo. Okay, right on. Teach, brother, teach. They got him from what I just saw a depiction of it on one of the what Dr. McIntosh shared on yesterday, and I think they were in some sort of museum or something. Somewhere they were because they got all kind of innuendos and things in there. I didn't totally get the gist of why they put that in there like that, but it's definitely disrespectful to our people and to our ancestors. Yes.
Yeah. So if they take a swipe at our culture in that way and take a swipe at someone that's held in high regard like a Harriet Tubman, that's reason enough right there to cancel your Netflix.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if we don't respect our ancestors and no one else respects our ancestors, then no one will respect us as a people. Is it safe to say that?
It's very safe to say that. It goes back to we're going back to the music staple singers. Respect yourself. Right. Got to respect you. We got to respect with the National Black Leadership Alliance. We got to respect yourself campaign. Bob Law always talks about the respect yourself campaign of yesteryear. We're trying to bring that back again. You got to respect yourself. It's like somebody mentioned Essence and how Essence magazine got back to some owner, whatever. But I mean, last year at the Essence Fest. I mean, it ended the Essence Fest. Essence, Essence has been for years, classy Black women. And at the end of Essence Fest, you got Megan Pete on there calling sisters on stage 3 times to twerk. Not once, not twice, but 3 times to twerk. Her lyrics, none edited, just violent, vulgar, pornographic, violent. And this is what's being played. This is a sister who says she's going to bleed the block. And then the rapper shoots her in both toes and she's bleeding the block. but that's what she's rapping about, and that she's a savage. And this closes out the Essence Fest concert in 2023.
So Essence Magazine is now under Black ownership again. Is that what you're saying?
That's what they were saying. I thought it was. I thought it just switched Black ownership, but that's what someone said at the program on yesterday. And I didn't get a chance to respond, but that's nothing to celebrate. If this Black ownership is going to be doing that same thing.
Right, because black ownership doesn't mean it's going to be positive, because they could be going along with the status quo as well.
Yeah, we got the two when we spoke earlier about the 2 Kill Black People radio stations in Chicago that were European owned. Well, now there's a black one. A black one has came in there now in the last few years. Now he's playing the same ratchet, violent music and playing more of it because he has less commercials. He's not making as much money, I guess, so he's getting, possibly more money from other ways to play that garbage. And it's just like, I monitored a little bit yesterday. It's still unbelievable to me that we can have so much violent, vulgar, pornographic music on these radio stations on broad daylight, on the airwaves, just telling us to take each other's life constantly, and not enough of us are doing anything about it.
And we're asleep at the wheel. Why do you think that is?
Dr. McIntosh and Bernard Gorman said learned helplessness, because like I said, you see all the thumbs down. I shared with you how many of our people, even the young folks, like, no, it causes a lot of that. But we've lost so much that we give up fighting. But we got to organize, and we got to get some wins. We're going to win this one on Netflix. And I think it's important that we channel the energy and move forward to the music. But I think we're going to win this one on Netflix because there's so many people outraged. You just got to realize that we can do something about it. And again, they're speaking out about it on all these social media pieces is very important. But I think we're going to win this one. And as we do that again, we can go right after that. Because one of the things Judge Joe Brown said, I was kind of disappointed at first when I first heard him talking about it. And again, he commented on this Netflix Good Times reboot. And Judge Joe Brown was like, well, we behave like that in certain ways and this and that. He said, when he mentioned the music, I can't argue with him. The music says, when the shootouts are occurring, that's what the music says to do. 21 Savage says, my Glock is cocked. I don't give no F about who I hit. I mean, there's a scene in this documentary, man, where Junior can't do well in school, so he has to go get some medication. The person that's delivering the medication is Chief Keef. Chief Keef, who was like the father of drill music, supposedly. So as Chief Keef is preparing his medication, his drugs, he has a shootout. He's shooting outside the window in between preparing the drugs for the family.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, Brother Clark, now we're at the end of our hour. I need you to repeat some of the information again as it relates to the campaign against Netflix. You said cancel your subscription is one. You said go to Netflix website and you can post comments, right? So you can do that. You can go to the trail and give that a thumbs down on YouTube, correct?
Yes.
And you can write a snail mail letter to 888 Broadway, New York 10003. Is there anything else we can do?
Yes. Get with your family, your friends, your organizations, especially your organizations in churches or mosques or whatever, and have them to write a letter, have them to express their disdain officially against this madness. Definitely, that's one of the things that we have to do. And I have the list. The list is also, you go to Simo Tap's Facebook page, you'll have the complete list. Again, running from taking care of my, with the family from my brother G. Barilli, just kind of caught me off a little bit this morning. So yeah, but there's things that we must do. Absolutely.
And we got Jane in the chat who said that she couldn't get past the first 20 minutes of the first episode of Good Times. So a lot of people have definitely given us a thumbs down. And she said a lot of today's female rappers are ratchet plants. You agree with that?
I wholeheartedly agree with that. We got to go. But before 2016, there were only 3 women that we heard from the first part of the century constantly in the music. It was Rihanna, Beyonce, and Nicki Garbage. That was it. And then when they brought forth Cardi B Gone, when they brought her in there, the floodgates open. Since then, that's what we've been getting now for the last 8 years. There's just so many more self-deprecating, demeaning sisters rapping about their own degradation, man. It's so sad.
Yeah, now the Clear Airwaves Project has a website. You want to give that website before we sign off?
cleartheairwavesproject.org, and it's waves is spelled with a V, WAVES, cleartheairwavesproject.org. Also, you can get us on our social media at clearairwaves@gmail.com. No, that's my email address. My email address is clearairwaves@gmail.com. And check us out on Facebook, man. We do a lot of work on Facebook, Clear the Airwaves Project.
Definitely. So we are directing people to that website, cleartheairwaves.com. Am I saying it right?
Cleartheairwavesproject.com.
Cleartheairwaysproject.com. Forgive me. Cleartheairwaysproject.com. Brother Kwaba, now we want to thank you for getting on with us today. And we definitely want to bring you back again soon after 2 weeks, after CMOTAP meets again, so we can get an update on where we are as it relates to the times.
Yes, indeed. CMOTAP, War on Netflix. Check it out. Get ready for our next meeting. Again, it'll be 2 weeks from last Saturday.
Absolutely. And next week, we will give that information again. I will get a hold of you offline so I could post that in the chat so we can send people there so they can promote the good work that you and CMOTAP are continuing to do. Thank you for joining us again today, brother. And we'll talk with you again soon, all right?
Right on, my brother. Appreciate you for having us.
All right, brother. Peace.
Peace.